Welcome back to some more battles. We are in the open Cradily today, and let's see if we can get some wins with the Cradily paired with our Galarian Corsola and the Dusknoir in the back. So they swap into the Furret. We are going to stay in and fire off our Rock Tomb. In fact, we can't really switch out because we have two ghost types in the back, so we're just going to play this out. We at least get the debuff, so the Trailblaze does less damage. We are able to get to another Rock Tomb and almost KOs, and then we get a little bit of farm. And let's see what they bring back in. The Empoleon is revealed. We are going to go into our Corsola immediately. We know we can tank one. Are we able to tank two is the question. We're just going to let this go, and the answer is no, unfortunately. So down goes the Corsola with energy. We have to try to win this game with our Dusknoir now and the Cradily. And it looks like the Talon decides to come back in, but we already have energy, so we're going to try to take advantage of that situation. We get to another Shadow Punch, and it does grab that shield. We're going to switch out into our Cradily. This Cradily does tank the move, and we need to get to another move before they get the KO, but unfortunately that is not going to happen. So GG's, our opponent unable to flip that game. We had to test it a little bit. We didn't really know how bulky the Corsola was, but against the Shadow Empoleon, now we know we need a shield once. So another tough lead here as we have to stay in. This Mighty Yenna is going to be really, really good against our backline. We fire off the Rock Tomb. They already got us debuffed, so they're just trying to apply a lot of fast move pressure. We shield once so that we can get to this move. This will get the KO or get the second shield. It does get the second shield, and now they're debuffed. And now we're going to have to try to win this game with ghost types against this dark. We let that first one go, and down goes the Dusknoir. And now here in comes the Corsola. This Corsola is going to have to just try his best to win this game. We have a Gastrodon in the back. This is interesting as they are going to have to get to two moves. We try to catch the move right there, but our opponent was just over farming. They go for the bait, and that is not going to be great for our end game, but it's still going to be really tough to beat this lineup. That Mighty Yenna was quite the core breaker. Even if we had shielded early, they probably could have got our Cradily really low regardless. Against the Shadow Dusknoir here, we are going to be able to reach the move first. So we get the debuff and the shield, and then we're going to try to switch out and catch a move. Let's see if they end up throwing the resisted move, and now we're going to have to face the Corviknight. The Corviknight is going to be able to get to a move here, but I think the Corsola has already done his job. We at least have the shield advantage, and we go right back in with our Cradily. This will deal significant damage or get that second shield, and they go back in with their Dusknoir, and we're going to switch into our own, and we're just looking for the one show farm down. We do end up getting the one show farm down. Let's see what they bring back in. Okay, Corviknight is revealed. They have some energy, so we're just going to throw the energy. And now we have the opposing Cradily to deal with. We build up to a dynamic punch. We fire off the Shadow Punch. They don't shield, but it doesn't matter because it does a chunk of damage. And that's important because now all we have to do here is let this go. And we do survive. That's the key to the end game here, is surviving one of these moves. Even if we didn't, we still had a shield, and the fast move pressure of the Dusknoir should have been enough. Alright, we got the Cradily into the Bastiodon, not the lead we wanted. We go into the Corsola and we get faced with the Malamar. So Malamar going to be able to fire off a lot of moves quickly. So we're just going to try to do as much damage as possible before we get KO'd. And it looks like our opponent does get the farm down. That is brutal. But we snipe our energy with our own fast move pressure. We're going to apply full pressure here. We build up to the dynamic punch. We go for the shadow punch. Our opponent actually calls the bait. So this is going to be a tough situation. Our opponent baits the Rage Fist. So that allows us to get to this move here. We do end up grabbing the shield, which is really nice. And they actually allow us to get to another move. So this is going to get the KO or the last shield. Our opponent has a ton of energy though. And we have to rely on a lot of fast move pressure. Luckily, we already had a move banked. So they leave that matchup with some energy. Now we have to shield here. And now it's a race. We do get to the dynamic punch. Is this dynamic punch enough? Yes, it will. So GG's to our opponent, able to win that game versus a Bastion lead. Mainly because the Dusknoir in the back carried and closed the game, taking out the Primeape with energy and getting to that dynamic punch versus the Bastion. Alright, good lead here, but our opponent most likely is going to shield. We'll see what happens, but they probably have a flyer in the back is my initial guess. We fire off the grass move and they end up committing the shield, so we'll take that shield advantage and swap into our Corsola. This Corsola is going to be able to tank some of the moves. Looks like two of them is going to be tanked, and then they swap into their Altaria. So Altaria is going to be pretty tanky, believe it or not, if you're not really using ice moves. They tank two nice shades and gets them into the low yellow. We are just going to sack this Cradily at this point, as it really has no more play. Our opponent swaps back into their Swampert, and we have to commit the shield because this is our last Pokemon. We do end up getting the farm down. That's really key. So we know they still have Altaria, and they are being back in the Altaria. We just farm it down. Whoa! Ends up being a Jirachi in the back. So they were hoping that we would use some energy against that Altaria, but we get that farm down opportunity, which allows us to get to 3 shadow punches, and that's going to be enough to take him out. So GG's to our opponent, able to win that game with the Dusknoir at the end. Check out the team if you haven't already, and let us know if you enjoyed the video.